Play down the superior subordinate factor, bosses. I know you my superior, boss. I know that. I know I'm your subordinate. Hey, boss, I knew that before I left home this morning. Don't rub it in. You play this down. We're equal, you know, we're just in different roles. People are always putting notes in my pocket. And I got home one day and pulled one out and said, industry wanted workers and got people. I like that. You got people. Those are people out there, folks. So you remember that. And we're all equal, we're just in a different team. Avoid actions that says big me and little you. Don't walk by me, boss, like I was a post holding up this roof. If you pass me, you nod at me. If you pass me 10 times, you nod at me 10 times. Now, I don't want you to go around, you know, hunting people around behind the post, but if it's obvious, boss, that you should have seen me, notice me. Acknowledge my presence. That's all. Acknowledge my presence. I've seen them come through, looking at that ceiling, looking neither left nor right, you know. We coming right along behind you. Now, we call that shooting a bird in our plane. I recognized right off. Y'all knew what that was. Some of y'all going to be looking over your shoulder next week. Now, folks, I know that that is an obscene gesture. And I want you to promise you this grandmother has never shot a bird. There's nothing anybody in the world could ever do that caused me to do that. But I've seen hundreds of employees do it behind the boss's back. Well, boo, One night I saw one standing behind him doing that. I said, what in the world is that? I said, that's 10 of these upside down. I've done that. Y'all, I never have seen an employee shoot a bird at a boss because he hated him. He didn't hate that boss. All he wanted her to do or him to do was, howdy, Bill. Everything okay, Ralph? Glad to see you, Susan. Your wife okay, Red? Wouldn't take a minute, wouldn't cost a nickel. So be careful, folks. This big me and little you thing is over. The ivory tower management is over. I was visiting a frozen food company in Gaffney, South Carolina, and the training manager's name was Mary Sue. Okay, she was taking us on a tour, you know. Here we was in these big old white suits, you know, and we're going down, me and my secretary, 2 VIPs, and Mary Sue. We're going down this long hall, and this little black girl looked like she might have been about 18 years old, come running up to this crowd. Now, they have part-time employees, and they're hired on this basis. So, you know they might not get to work every day. This little girl come running up and said, Mary Sue, could you find me something to do? Mary Sue just turned her back on us. She said, Susan, can you run a copying machine? She said, no, but I could learn. I tell you what, do. You go out there to my office, and you tell that guy out there to show you how to run that copy machine. You practice a little bit, and I'll be on out there in a little bit and help you. Boy, she took off. And Mary Sue turned back to us. I looked at my secretary. I said, did you see that? Man, I love that. How many bosses wouldn't have said, hey, run home. Can't you see I've got a tour? Can't you see I've got company? Hey, don't bother me now, huh? But not this world-class supervisor. She took care of that employee. We wasn't the ones that was important. We were going to be gone in 10, 15 minutes. She was the one, y'all. Since that time, this same girl, they helped her get her GED. She's shooting straight to the top. She is going to be worth $1 million to that frozen food company because she got positive supervision when she was 18 years old. A positive relationship with your people will be a productive relationship, and don't forget that. So remember that. A good coach will involve everybody on the job, regardless of what their handicap or education. I worked with a guy one time named Ron. Ron was an educationally disadvantaged employee, folks. He didn't know how many days they are in a month. I know that's hard to believe, y'all, but we checked it on the cards, on the looms. When he get down to the end of the month, he just keep right on going. 31, 32, 33, 34. I don't know where the boy would have stopped. But I felt embarrassed for him, and at the end of every month, I'd take him up and put new ones out. But evidently, this boy had never been to school. They had a problem on his job one day. And they wanted a wide selvage. Y'all know a selvage is a little, for some reason, on this one particular style, they wanted a big wide one, and this machine would not do it. They sent home and got people. They sent the training room and got people. All morning long, they was hovering around this machine. 2 or 3 times, I saw Ron walk up to it, and his supervisor shooed him away. Said, go on, Ron, go on, run your job. We'll do this. Go on, go on. Finally, about lunchtime, here come a plant manager. Y'all know how they look. He come marching out through there, y'all, and he stared at that machine. He thought he was going to scare it. But it didn't work, so he went on to the golf course. And the rest of them went on wherever it is that y'all go. And this machine hadn't hit a lick. I saw Ron walk up to it. You know what I'm going to tell you. I bet it wasn't 20 minutes he had that thing clicking. It didn't stop again till the rest of the day. Ron was an educationally disadvantaged employee. He didn't even know how many days there was in a month, but he had an intellectual contribution, nevertheless, to make to this team, and the coach wouldn't let him. The first thing that boss ought to have done that morning was go and get Ron. Say, Ron, you run this thing all the time. You probably know it better than the man that made it. See if you can fix it. I'm going to put somebody else on your job. See if you can fix it. Even if he couldn't have fixed it, y'all, look what that would have done for this educated, disadvantaged employee. They wouldn't give him a chance, folks. Give us a chance. Give us a chance. We all want to contribute something. And we want to contribute something besides sweat. I said that in my other take, but I'll say it again. We want to contribute something besides sweat. The cry of management to labor is, why won't y'all produce? Why won't you do quality work? Why won't you practice safety? Why aren't you loyal? And the cry of labor comes back. Why don't you treat me like a human being? Mr. Supervisor, why don't you? Now, what do we mean when we say being treated like a human being? Some of these things I'm talking to you today is what we're going to say. So don't overlook the Rons and the Susans on your job. They are human beings, and everybody is important.